seminar talk, Metaverse Communities Layer and Research, which will be given by Dr. Wei Cai from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, where he is the director of the Human Cloud Systems Laboratory and the director of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Shenzhen White Matrix Metaverse Laboratory. Dr. Wei received his Ph.D. from University of British Columbia in Canada, his master's from Seoul National University, and his bachelor from Xiamen University. He has authored approximately 80-90 journal and conference papers in the area of interactive multimedia and decentralized system. He's focusing his research mainly on topics related to human-centered metaverse, including blockchain, Web3, and what the Web3 means, digital game, DeFi, GameFi, and the computational art. He's serving as a TPC member of top conferences, including ACM Multimedia, ACM Multimedia System, NOSSDAV, GameSys, and he's associate editor of several journals, including IEEE Transactions on cloud computing, and also he leads several guest editorialship on journal, among other ACM Transaction of Multimedia, IEEE Multimedia Magazine, Transaction of Computer Sciences, and so forth. Wei is also executive committee member of the China Computer Federation Computational Art Committee, and is member of the technical committee on human-computer interaction and technical committee on blockchain. And it is not to my surprise, since I have been following the career of Dr. Wei Cai since many, many years in Canada. He's a recipient of six Best Paper Awards and is really doing wonderful research. So I am very happy that he accepted our invitation and that he will present us with some of his work in order to learn and to exchange the information. Dr. Wei, it's your floor.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for the introduction. Yeah, so it's my honor and it's a great opportunity to talk to you guys to discuss the recent research in Metaverse. And also, probably I will discuss our explorations in these directions and some of my research outcomes in recent years. Actually, I have 4 PhD students visiting Abu Dhabi next month. So today I will also cover their research related to Metaverse as well. Yeah. So this is the topic I would like to cover today. I'll first introduce what is Metaverse, and I will briefly introduce different community aspects for the Metaverse. And after that, I will briefly introduce some commercial projects from the Web3 community that is closely related to Metaverse. And then I'll briefly introduce the spectrum towards implementing and realizing the Metaverse. And the last one, I'll introduce our Metaverse research in layers. So what is Metaverse? Well, a lot of people are talking about Metaverse recently, become a buzzword, right? And I believe many people started to know this word because of Facebook decided to change their name to Meta. And this is a very famous video. Probably you already seen that video before, so I don't want to play the video today. This is a video that Mark Zuckerberg describing the future of Metaverse from their company's perspective. And if you watch the movie, if you watch this demo video, you probably might have an idea. Well, that's Metaverse is actually similar to VR and AR, or is equal to VR and AR application. Actually, many people, especially those people who are outside Metaverse research, might have this kind of sense after they watch the video. And after the Metaverse become the buzzword, become a hot research topic, different areas, in addition to VR and AR people, claim them to be an expert in Metaverse as well. For example, like cloud computing communities peoples, they're saying that while cloud is the most important thing in Metaverse because we need a strong cloud to support a Metaverse world. Networking people claim to be the most important people in metaverse because, well, you need a network to support communications and also support the collaborations and also the social networks on top of metaverse. Of course, without network, cannot do anything, right? I even have friends working in power and electricity claim to be the most important role in metaverse because they believe that without electricity, you cannot build up any metaverse. Well, to be honest, personally, I believe that all these areas are very important in metaverse because without these supporting infrastructures, we cannot build any metaverse on top of it, right? So indeed, they're very important. But in terms of the idea of metaverse, what is the core, what will be the most important thing related to metaverse? Is it VR and AR? Well, maybe I can quote a very important report from CoinDesk. Okay, CoinDesk is a very important, famous media in cryptocurrency and Web3 community. After Facebook changed their name, I believe within 1 or 2 days, they have a report. The title of the report is Facebook Steals Another Crypto Idea for Its Rebranding Actions. Okay, so why they say that the Facebook is stealing the idea from the crypto community? So here I'll spend some time on introducing different communities in doing metaverse research and implementation. So where does this come? This mean the metaverse, this word comes from? Well, it comes from a very famous novel. Okay, if you've ever heard of metaverse before, probably you know this novel. This is a novel called Snow Crash from Neil Stephenson. It was written in 1992. It's a very old novel already. It's been almost 30 years. So in this book, they propose the metaverse. Meta means beyond, and verse is stemmed from the universe. And metaverse is a collective virtual shared space, including the sum of all virtual worlds and the internet. So it seems it's a simple connectivity between the network and virtual reality. And indeed, that is the original meaning of metaverse. In fact, there are a number of movies motivated by Snow Crash. Okay, if you ever watched the Ready Player One or Free Guy, these two famous movies, you realize that they actually have similar ideas related to Snow Crash. People in a future year might live in a virtual world that you use the virtual reality goggles, so you're able to access this digital world and use the digital world to communicate with people in all over the world. That's why when people started to think about metaverse, they first comes to virtual reality, and that is why Facebook claimed to be the most important company in metaverse. Actually, in October 29, right, Facebook changed the name to Meta, and they represent a very important community in metaverse research. I would like to call them immersive internet. So in this community, okay, the most representative parties working on this community will be the IT giants. Those big companies has computational power and advanced technology to build out an immersive experience for the users. For example, like NVIDIA, right, and Meta, right, including also Tencent. Probably some of you might know, one of the biggest gaming companies in China, probably all over the world as well. Okay, so these are IT giants. They focus on building an immersive experience for interactive multimedia for all over on top of the internet infrastructures. So what will be their focus? They focus on how you're going to build up a VR and AR experience, and probably haptics, how you're going to creating experience from the hardwares, okay, or even brain-computer interface, because how you're going to input data to the metaverse become very important, even you are using a VR, right? And also, how are you going to create your avatar in this virtual world of people working on MetaHuman, right? Using advanced graphic technologies to create a digital human looks like real. And of course, we need networking support, right? Lots of infrastructure, including like Huawei, those companies, they focus on how you're going to use the edge computing, all kind of infrastructure to support these metaverse dreams. So that will be the first community working on metaverse. However, before Facebook changed their name, actually a lot of people already know this term, the metaverse, in the investment community, okay, in the investors, among the investors. Then it is on March 10th, 2020. On that day, Roblox, a very famous gaming company, in my opinion, it's a gaming company, okay? They have done, they are proposed to do IPO in US, in NOSSDAV. And they claim themselves to be a metaverse company because they believe Roblox, it is not a gaming software. Instead, it is a metaverse that providing providing world as a service, a digital world as a service. In Roblox, kids or probably human adults, they can use their software to create digital world so that they are able to share the digital world to others. And other people can use this software to play within their world. Okay, so to be honest, Roblox is more like a platform providing tools for people to host their online games to others. So actually on March 10, a lot of people started to talk about metaverse because of the IPO for Roblox. So I would like to call these people the crowd intelligence community, represented by those gaming companies. For example, some people are talking about Minecraft as well. Minecraft is a very old game, right? But still, a lot of people are playing Minecraft. Actually, personally, I love Minecraft a lot as well. I play Minecraft a lot as well. And in Roblox and Minecraft, the most important feature for the user is that you want to participate. You want to create contents rather than consuming the contents. So for this community, we focus on user-generated content or even AI-generated content because we want advanced technology to help us to create more content to be consumed in the virtual world. We focus on collaborations, computations among different users, different players in this world. And probably we're using this platform to do crowdsourcing as well. So that will be the second community related to metaverse. However, between 1992 to 2020, it has been almost 30 years. Does it mean that no one used metaverse as a technical world? Indeed, we have someone using metaverse as a technical already. Actually, on February 2017, Fred Urson, the co-founder of Coinbase, he wrote a blog, okay, an article on his blog. The title of the blog is called VR is a Killer Application for Blockchains. So in this article, he mentioned that while people are talking about VR, and VR definitely will be the future of human. In the future, okay, imagine that everyone will live in the world of Warcraft or a virtual world that, you know, Facebook or other companies are building, right, with VR, right? Given we live in those worlds, or even the Ready Player One, those digital worlds, what will be the most critical issue people might face? That is the security of your digital assets and also your digital identity. Okay, because from the Snow Crash, that particular novel, or from Ready Player One, those movies, one crisis is that the company running this virtual world might be the evil one. They might erase you if they don't like you, right? They might take off everything from you by just pressing a button. So in the future, if we human rely on the virtual world more and more, probably we need a way to control this world. We need a demographic solution so that you can secure the digital assets. You're able to secure your digital identity by your personal keys or something. So in this article, he said that in the future, when we are entering the era of metaverse, we need to use blockchain to support the system so that we are able to have a decentralized future that people can control their own digital assets and their identity. So from that moment, okay, the researchers, developers in crypto society started to use metaverse, this term, to describe their future that people can own their digital assets. And from that moment, we started to move. On August 2017, Decentraland and Metaverse on top of Ethereum started their ICO, the initial coin offering to do fundraising. And on April 2018, Crypto Voxel started to go online. It is a metaverse on top of Ethereum platform as well. Of course, after 2019, more and more people started to use the metaverse, this term in crypto society, to support, their future long-term targets of their projects. Actually, we started to use this term by the end of 2020 as well. Okay, we started to realize this is the future, and we established our joint metaverse laboratory with a company called Matrix, and we started to do research in this area. So this is the last community works on metaverse, and in my opinion, probably the most important community that raised the metaverse to a buzzword. Okay, so that will be the Web3 community. Usually we are saying that we are actually the crypto societies that leverage the cryptocurrency and NFTs as the most important digital assets. So representative project like Decentralized, okay, or CryptoVoxel, Sandbox. So these companies focus on the blockchain, how you're going to use smart contract to ensure the digital assets, cryptocurrencies, NFTs. And we also focus on decentralized identities. And recently we're talking about the soulbound tokens that we are able to connect real humans' identity to the digital identities. So those are different communities talking about metaverse recently. So let's come back to the opinion proposed by the Coin Desk. Why they believe Facebook just steal the idea but not implement in a real metaverse? Well, probably because of this. The Oculus CTO, okay, the sub-company of Facebook, they said that the CEO says that unlikely that the Meta will totally embrace the crypto. And from the crypto society's perspective, the most important feature of the metaverse is openness. You need to be open, okay? You need to be open. Well, I believe the openness, it is the most important feature of metaverse as well. And I think that the capital market believes so as well. So as you can see from the stock market, the stock price for Meta, in fact, does not have any increase, but decrease for 60%, okay, after they changed the name to Meta. So in Web3 community, we do have a lot of discussions over what will be the future, what will be the feature of the metaverse. And this is the definition of A16Z, probably the most famous leading investment company in cryptocurrency society. And they wrote an article to describe the 7 essential ingredients of the metaverse. In this article, they propose their ideas related to metaverse. They believe metaverse should be open. Everything should be decentralized and based on cryptocurrency, so that all the data could be owned by the users and could be shared by all kinds of projects. So the 6, according to the title, right, they proposed the 7 important features for metaverse. And if you go through all of those features, you realize that VR is not included, especially in number 7, social immersion. Okay, they even say that the corporations see them as a way to becoming a dominant computing interface suppliers for 3D virtual worlds, and thereby also becoming the choke points that intermediates people's metaverse experience. So for state-of-the-art technologies, from Web3 perspective, a metaverse does not have to exist in VR or AR. What's more important is that we want more people to be joining this community, to join the metaverse. We want more people to get in touch with the openness of the metaverse. So that, in fact, it is the most important standpoint of Web3 metaverse. Personally, I believe all of these 3 communities are strongly connected to each other. In my opinion, they should be supporting to each other. Okay. For example, let's say, let's take a look at this figure. Okay. From the bottom part, the persistent, tradable digital assets, the transparent, immutable rules enforced by smart contract. These are the foundations of metaverse. And of course, these are the focus of Web3 communities. On top of that, if you have a reliable digital assets, you are able, as a user, you are able to ensure that all those digits, all of those rules are transparent, and you can have all your rights. You might want to, well, it might be a better incentive for you to create content on this platform, so that the user-generated content could be much better in Web3 metaverse. And that, in fact, will better facilitate the crowd intelligence community. And if you have sufficient number of people working on user-generated content, you will have much rich content in digital world, rather than just one company, right? Just one company working on the whole world. Instead, you have millions of users creating content for you. And that becomes the foundation of immersive interactive experience. Even you have advanced headsets for VR and AR, if you don't have sufficient digital content, you're not able to create a good, high quality metaverse. So in my opinion, these three communities are all very important towards metaverse. So this is a brief history or prehistory of metaverse in our article. We believe the idea of metaverse comes from very early stage, even before the internet was invented. People like imaginations, okay? People have the ability to think, to imagine. So after the birth of internet, people started to do UGCs, okay? They actually use some MUDs to play those text-based games, and people are generating stories on top of these very simple user interface. Of course, after 3D graphics have been introduced to the community, multimedia make everything looks much better. We have a 3D world, we have much better virtual economies. And after the internet has been well adopted, people started to join those digital world, and much rich UGC has been created. Second Life, Roblox, Minecraft, even Fortnite. Those are very famous projects in this period. However, we believe that we want to, if you really want to use the metaverse, this term, to describe the bright future of digital world, we believe Web3 is the most essential part, because after Web3 has been proposed to this digital world, we are able to ensure the digital assets. And this virtual reality, this virtual world, this metaverse will persist forever in Web3 platforms. So there will be different communities on metaverse. So now I will spend some time on talking about the Web3 metaverse projects. The most famous metaverse project from Web3 communities will be the land projects. What do we mean by land projects? It means that those projects will sell you the land so that you are able to purchase the land and build up your things, your digital contents on top of the land. As I mentioned, the first projects will be the decentralized. So as you can see from the right-hand side, we have a big map, and within the map, there are small slots for the land. So you can spend money to purchase the land, and on top of land, you can start to build your home, your amusement park, and wherever you want. So that will be decentralized. Crypto vaults are similar. Okay, they're releasing the lands, and people can auction the land and start to build things. I like the crypto voxel very much because it's similar to Minecraft. You can use blocks or say the voxel-based pixels, okay, voxels to create your 3D structures. That make everything easier, right? So we actually in our lab we do have multiple lands in crypto voxel, and we enjoy our videos and everything on top of it as well. So that will be the crypto voxel. The third project I would like to mention is Sandbox. Sandbox is similar to Roblox. In my opinion, it's more like a replica of Roblox in Web3 community. You can purchase the land, and in each land you are able to build up a game so that people can come to a land and play your game. What's different from Roblox is that everything is driven by cryptocurrency and NFT. So everything, almost everything you can see, okay, from the land, they are NFT based. So you are able to build NFTs, sell NFTs, exchange NFTs, and use the NFTs in your land. This is very interesting. I believe, well, Sandbox is still in alpha, it's in season 3, but I believe Sandbox might have very bright future because people have the motivation to play, okay, to play those games. Sandbox has a number of useful tools. They have editors so that people can create contents in a convenient way, and they have very popular, very busy market that people are exchanging their NFTs in the market. And the next project is NFT World. Okay, to be honest, I don't like this project very well because well, it does nothing but just creating an ecosystem on top of Minecraft. So you can buy their NFTs, and each NFT is a land, and on top of that, you can build up your lands on your purchased location. However, as I mentioned, it just leveraged the infrastructure provided by Minecraft. So personally, I believe they are kind of like copying, stealing from the Web2 projects. And actually, in this summer, Microsoft decided to ban the NFT words on the servers. So their system cannot work anymore. I believe they need to build up the system by themselves after that. As I mentioned, Web3 communities started to realize that, well, for the state-of-the-art projects, technologies, probably VR or even 3D is now the best choices for people to build up their world. So there are new projects that focus on social interactions between people rather than build out a virtual 3D spaces. For example, this is a project called Archive. Okay, you are able to use your NFT projects. You can use your NFTs, we will call it PFP, the profile picture NFTs in the land, and you can start to play games. Of course, it's a 2D game. Okay, it's a 2D game. It looks simple. Okay, it looks like it's a pixel style game, but it looks fluent. Okay, fluent. Especially, it's much easier for the project to build a world, and especially as a landowner, you want to create a game in 2D. Things will be much easier as well. Similar things has been applied to the World Wide Web. This is also a metaverse project in Web3 community. As you can see, it's pure 2D and even pixelized style. So it's much easier for you to start, and you are able to communicate or social with your friends immediately. Okay, it's much better than the 3D world in terms of operations and everything. Of course, something we cannot miss is the other deed. Okay, this is a superstar project from the BAYC. In the following slides, I'll talk about BAYC. It's a very famous NFT project. It sold their RD lands as well. And according to the demo, they are able to support thousands of players in one screen. Okay, in one screen. So a lot of people are talking about their technologies. Probably they incorporate cloud gaming project technology as well. Okay, as you can see, their land are very expensive. Okay, in the initial land offering, each land is around $6,000. Okay, so it's very expensive for offerings. We all know that the Web3 is experiencing the bear market recently, but after metaverse become a buzzword, okay, Facebook changed their name on October, right, by the end of October. So after metaverse become a buzzword, the token price for those famous metaverse projects increased a lot. Indicates people, at least the investors, are looking forward to the future of Web3 metaverse. So this is a quick summary of different land projects. Many of them are actually using open world, while the others use room-based. In my opinion, if you choose to use room-based, you focus on experience, you focus on interactions. And if you're using open world, probably you focus on social interactions. And for art styles, well, they will need to consider the capacity of the running environment, and also you need to focus on the user-generated content as well. If you're using voxel, things will be easier for the user to create contents. And of course, similar considerations will be applied to the platform as well. So that will be the first category. That will be the land project. The second one is profile picture projects. We call PFP projects. So what is a PFP? Well, the original definition of PFP is that, well, you can use NFT as your profile picture in your social media, wherever, okay? But there are extended definition, in fact. First, the collection must have sufficient numbers. For example, the most classic one will be 10K, well, 10,000 profile pictures. So they are partial fungible, means that, well, each of those NFTs should be unique from each other, but at the same time, they have similar features so that we know they belong to the same collection. And of course, most of those features are randomized. Nowadays, the PFP is only for profile picture display, but also is a pass for the DAO. You can use the Discord and plus the collaborator and website, you are able to use your NFT as a certificate so that you're able to join some special channels as VIP or the DAO member to join to participants in the project's developments. In 2020, there are lots of NFT projects rising in the market. Okay, these are some of the most famous ones. The first one is CryptoPunks, of course, and the second one, or now the most famous one is the BAYC, the ape. Okay, so they have airdrop their tokens, they have sell their lands and everything. So BAYC is now the most famous project in this world, in NFT world. So why NFT is strongly connected to Web3 metaverse? We're talking about metaverse, right? Metaverse will be a digital world that shares people's future. Why are we using a profile picture to represent it? Well, in fact, this is kind of like a vote on the metaverse debate. Well, even in Web3 community, there are two groups of people discussing the future of metaverse. Some of them believe that metaverse is yet to be built. We are still towards the metaverse. We need to build a metaverse. So they have a slogan kind of like, in metaverse, we build, okay? And there's another group of people that believe metaverse is already exist. The Web3 platform itself is the metaverse. So once we are adopting the Web3 platforms, all of our data connected, all of your activities could be traced, and you are now live in metaverse. So the raise of PFP project, in fact, it is a vote on this. Okay, if you believe the metaverse is already exists in Twitter, in Discord, in those social medias, then probably you might prefer to buy a PFP project to use the profile picture, NFT picture as your profile picture, right? For example, like Twitter, they already support NFT profile pictures in US, in Canada. So this is interesting. I mean, from the capital investment perspective, this is kind of like a vote. But in my opinion, okay, this phenomenon also shows a very important phenomenon in this market. The reality is that we have many investors in Web3 community, but we have only a few builders. So we are trying to, those investors, they are trying to find good project to invest, but they realize that while most of those projects are preliminary projects, they're just starting. So they don't know where to invest. So those capital becomes a DAO, okay? Those people with sufficient cryptocurrency, they started to build up a DAO. And a lot of people knows that, well, if you have a strong DAO, you have a strong NFT project, then the new project might come and airdrop to you guys because you are high quality customers. So this is kind of like a way of creating a DAO that's full of investors and capitals. Well, that would be some of my thoughts. Of course, NFT is very popular because many celebrities like it. They use NFTs to connect it to their fans, right? For example, Justin Bieber has In-Betweeners, even J. Cho, right? Those Asian stores, they have issued their NFTs. So there will be some very famous or probably two directions in the commercial metaverse projects in Web3 communities. Now let's come back to computer science, computer engineering perspective. How can we implement the metaverse? Well, I have a spectrum to implement or say that towards the future of metaverse. In the left-hand side, this is the physical world. In the right-hand side, this is the pure digital world that, well, it's a pure metaverse that has no relationship with the physical world. For example, like Web3 games, NFT arts, those are pure digital. Probably they have nothing to do with the real world. But things are not binary. In my opinion, there are big overlaps between the two worlds. The first one is how you use the digital world to influence the physical world. For example, can we build up the IP and brands and everything digital influence in the metaverse, and eventually will make an impact on the physical world. Or from left to right, can we use the metaverse, use the digital world to support, to provide services to the physical world? For example, the digital twin or decentralized identities. NFT arts and Web3 games are probably the first step. Okay, so while people started to build a lot of NFT artwork, well, the most famous one, for example, Beeples, right? They have every day it's been sold for a large number of US dollars. Art blocks for generative artworks. And in our group, we are also building collaborative artworks with NFTs. So artwork is probably the most pioneer work in this industry to lead the ideas. Web3 games, well, we generate a lot of new ideas, and games is always the best test bed for us to test if a commercial model or economic system works. One of the most famous ones, AC Infinity. Okay, probably if you know about Web3 games, you know AC Infinity. AC, you can buy an AC, and then you can play against others to earn the tokens, and then you can sell the tokens to US dollars, and you can even buy you use the US dollar in your daily life. Okay, actually, during the COVID-19 pandemic, some East Asian countries, some people, they play games for their livings. So there will be Web3 games. And well, but unfortunately, most of those token-based games, they are all Ponzi scheme games, right? So unfortunately, usually after a boost, there might be a crash later as well. Another kind of Web3 games, in my opinion, probably will be the future. For example, like a dark forest. Okay, they use the zero knowledge proof technology to support interactions on top of the blockchain. In my opinion, it provides a fair and better platform for people to play the game. So there are Web3 games. Well, how can we use digital world to provide influence to the physical world? IP and branding. Well, in fact, it's happening now. Okay, for example, CryptoPunks, a Web3 native project, has made an impact on old monies. Okay, so Tiffany, the jewelry, probably one of the most famous jewelry manufacturers, they already create a collaboration, okay, to create 250 NFTs, okay, sales on August 5th, and each of these pieces were about 50,000 US dollars, around 30 ETH. And well, in addition to that, the BAYC, as I mentioned, the A project has a big ecosystem already. It belongs to the yoga labs. You have fashion brands, you have music, you have food, vibration, everything. Okay, even in China, some of you might know, in China, well, the government is not that friendly to NFT, not that friendly to the crypto systems, right? Even in China, Li Ning, okay, one of the most famous sports brands in China, fashion brand in China, and Yi, a very famous fabricator as well. Okay, they collaborate with the yoga labs to use their IP on their products. They now have educations, communities, tours, podcasts, studios, and guild as well. Okay, so well, it's happening in my opinion. And of course, the third will be always be more realistic ones. How are we going to use metaverse to help us, right? Digital twin definitely will be something strongly connected to industry. Many governments are proposing to use digital twin to help people, help the society to build up a better infrastructures. Actually, personally, I have a research project from Shenzhen city government as well. We are building blockchain-based digital twin city systems for them as well. And of course, MetaHuman, that it is something for us to create a digital twin of human so that you are able to use it as an avatar in the virtual world. Decentralized identity, well, I believe in this area, probably Korean government has the most aggressive approach. Okay, their banks or even their governments started to recognize the blockchain-powered digital IDs. So under the new plan, the blockchain-powered ID will be fully decentralized, meaning that even the government won't be able to see how and when the ID is being used. This is very aggressive approach, in my opinion, but I'm happy to see that those governments are adopting these blockchain technologies to support the future of their governance of the country. So that will be the spectrums. So the last part, I will take some time on introducing our metaverse research in different layers. Well, first of all is the prehistory. Actually, the motivation for us to start to build a metaverse or the digital twin for our campus starts from COVID-19 pandemic. In that year, we realized that a new student cannot come to our campus on site anymore. So we decided to build up a game. This is a Chinese game. This is a game in Chinese. We built up a campus tour games for the students. They can play the game to get familiar with everything, the daily life in their campus, and also the majors they can take, because in our university, they select majors after they enroll into the university. And also, of course, everything related to libraries. And we also create some challenges, some games for them to get familiar with the physical locations in different places in this university. Based on this idea, we realized that, wow, probably we can create a model, and then we can make an online virtual society based on this model. So here comes the idea. Okay, starting from 2020, we started to build a low poly campus, and this is a online version, which means that the users, the students, they can physically connect it to this digital twin, and we will use their physical location as their location in the virtual campus. So we published this paper, Metaverse for Social Good, a university campus prototype in ACM MM 2020 last year. Well, this paper is pretty popular. A lot of people are talking about this paper because probably this is the first big paper regarding metaverse, blockchain-driven metaverse in past 2 years. So in this project, in this paper, we describe the future of metaverse, how metaverse can help us to provide a better life, including the accessibilities, diversities, equalities, and humanities. So we actually rebuild the system. Okay, rebuild the whole campus. It's a low poly campus. Looks much better. I mean, the voxel base looks good from far side, but if you go into the building, it doesn't look well. Okay, so we rebuild the system. Of course, the system has a daytime cycle as well. So different time you log into the system, you will have complete different views. Okay, this is the night view of the campus. And of course, since this is a blockchain-driven system, okay, so we will have a lot of features connected to it. In different locations, you receive the tokens if you're within inside the campus. These tokens might with different rate. Okay, of course, that was an incentive mechanism for people to know that you should be staying in some places rather than other places. For example, you don't want you to stay in a dormitory in daytime. It's an online system, so people can connect. We have a user-related content, so people can generate their content and exchange in the market. So this is a prototype sharing the view of future metaverse. Of course, we're using a small campus as a demonstration of the future life in metaverse. Actually, the project is still under development. We are still in beta test. Student can log in with their university email address, but still we are polishing all of the details, including some of the AI-powered editors, which I'll show you in the following slides. So in this paper, we also talk about the different layers, right? To support metaverse, we need from infrastructure to build up the interactions, and eventually we will need to construct the whole ecosystem. So that's why we have a lot of research associated with these layers from bottom to top. Okay, in the future, you know, in metaverse, we need a lot of people to create. We need a lot of new data and multimedia content to be stored for the blockchain. So how can we create a sustainable blockchain storage for metaverse? We have been doing research in this area, and this is two of our recent work published in TON and JSAC. And of course, consensus model is always very important. While we all know that Ethereum has changed to POW to POS because the performance issues. So we are doing research in this area as well. We're proposing new models explicitly for metaverse. And a lot of people are claiming that cloud gaming will be something very important in Metaverse because we need to streaming all of these contents through the cloud. And yes, we are building the Web3 infrastructure for cloud gaming in Metaverse as well. We're using cryptocurrency to support the cloud gaming systems. This is a work which will be published in IEEE Transactions on Cloud Computing. Of course, one of the most important community, as I mentioned, in Metaverse is how you're going to generate contents from the users. So we have a lot of work has been done in user-generated contents. We have a paper published in IEEE Conference again this year, and we have also done a lot of work in doing video editings and the editors for Metaverse in the future. And of course, what's more interesting is how you're going to connect Web3 and the content editings. So this is called AI-assisted content editor for Metaverse. We start from PFP projects. So we leverage the crypto informations, right, the hash informations as a very important factors when we are doing the machine learning training process. So as you can see in the neural network, we will leverage the hash values so that different people in the world will create different contents. Well, even though you're using the same model, but after you started to use your model in the Metaverse, they are unique. Okay, they're unique. So that we are able to ensure that all of these contents, all of the NFTs in the world are unique. And this is what presented in MMSP this year. And of course, we have a 3D version, and this is something we would like to incorporate into the CUHK Shenzhen Metaverse as well. This is a work submitted to IEEE Communication Magazine. It's still under major revision. And we also have a lot of research related to the man's experience. We studied the audio vision indifference, okay, how people perceive the audios. And we also study how the impact fails, the impact feedbacks on the players in action games. These are something, okay, probably might enrich the user's experience in a virtual world. We also have a lot of research work in understanding the users in virtual worlds. For example, we have been doing research in how you're going to use the eye gaze to understand the cognitive states of the players in solving the puzzle games. This is a work published in GameSys this year. And we also developed a system, okay, to understand how to stream the game world to the audience. And this is a collaborative work with Attention Games. Okay. Well, a lot of people are saying that blockchain games definitely, and Web3 games will be the first break points of Metaverse. So we have been doing research in this area for a long time. We started from 2019. We started to publish blockchain game papers. As you can see, we have been doing a survey, security studies, and we have been developing a number of blockchain games. Due to a time limitation, I'm not going to show you all those demos. We have been developing a number of games, and we also perform a lot of economic analysis of the Web3 worlds, because everything is driven by tokens. So economic analysis is also very important in this world. So we are doing economic analysis on decentralized exchange, on the mining, and we also perform analysis on the loot box, the opportunity products in the blockchain games. And on top of that, we also use the big data in the blockchain to analyze the Web3 society. We start from the liquidity mining, okay, to understanding the user behavior in government tokens, and to the blockchain games. Okay, we also studied the players' behaviors on blockchain games. For example, one of the most famous ones is AlphaGachi. This is a work published in ACM FDG, one of the most famous gaming company in ACM community this year. And of course, we're looking for research opportunities in NFT market as well. And this is a work done by Hongzhou, submitted to IEEE Transactions. This is how you're going to study the rumors, how the rumors impact the rumors in social media influence the markets, because people have a lot of fears foremost, okay, the foremost in social media. So we use the big data in the blockchain network to analyze how the rumors make impacts on the people's actions in this NFT markets. We adopt the Goblin Town, one of the most famous NFT project in the past 3 months as an example. And this is the research opportunities we are looking for. In multimedia HCI perspective, human factor perspective, okay, we look for QoE, user studies, UGC and AIGC tools, meta-human and virtual reality, AR, and research directions. And for network, or probably we said the collaborative or cooperative societies, we're looking for DeFi and GameFi activities, DAO and DIT, okay, decentralized identities. We also look for opportunities in lower layers like consensus and sharding algorithms, blockchain, layer 2 and multi-chain technologies for providing better performance in blockchain as well. Of course, I have been spending quite lots of time talking about metaverse, but to be honest, until today, I'm still not sure what will be the future of metaverse. Okay, this is a quote from the former president of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, also the winner of Nobel Prize. He said that, well, you don't want to believe people, okay, those experts said, okay, because I don't believe those experts, so that I decide to work on my direction and I become successful. So I think this is very important in this community as well, including Web3 and metaverse. This is a new area and everything is unknown. So there's nothing we can borrow from the history. All we can do is to build. Okay, so I would like to conclude my talk with this slogan, in metaverse, we build. And this is the Twitter account from my lab and also my personal account. So if you're interested in Web3 metaverse and Web3 communities, you can follow our accounts. We have daily reports of the markets, and we also have lots of discussions in recent topics in this area. Thank you. This is my presentation, and yes, so I think this is time for us to do Q&A sessions.
Thank you very much, Wei, for your wonderful presentation. I think we learned a lot today, and we will continue learning probably through a couple of questions. So one of the questions that is that is coming from the attendees is what is the difference between metaverse and simulation?
Okay, so simulation, I think simulation is strongly associated with digital twin, in my opinion. Yeah, simulation, especially if you're talking about the real life event simulation, is strongly connected to digital twin. You need to build a digital twin, and then you are able to collect the real-time data or some historical data in the digital twin, and then eventually you can use the digital twin to perform simulations. So according to the spectrum towards the metaverse, in my opinion, this is one of the one very important direction in metaverse. Yeah, so simulation is part of the metaverse research. Yes, yeah. Oh, actually, we have one also we have very important direction. I didn't show it here. We are doing a simulation platform for economics as well. Yeah, we are building a platform, hopefully to release next year. It's a platform for us to simulate Web3 game economics. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Wei, probably I will ask on behalf of the attendees, since sometimes it's difficult for them when they are on a webinar. So you presented very nicely the spectrum of the metaverse and also the contributing technologies, and you emphasized a lot on the Web3 aspect. So there are a few standardization work related to Web3 from IEEE, for instance. And so what is your take on those standardization activities in Web3?
Okay, so talking about standardization, I believe probably you know that IEEE established a community, IEEE Metaverse standardization committee or something, right? It's led by Dr. Yuan Yu. I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah.
And he has a presentation discussing the metaverse. And in his opinion, Web3 is not important. I actually heard that talk as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, but I think probably I can answer the question from this perspective. Okay. I think me and him have both agreed that one of the most important features for metaverse is persistent. So metaverse is different from previous MMORPG or MMOs because it's persistent, right? So how can we provide a persistent layer for the metaverse? Well, from my view, Web3 is the most ideal technology. Without Web3, how would you provide a persistent layer to support metaverse? I don't have a question. I don't have an answer to that, right? So maybe yes. I think metaverse is a big world that includes all kind of research. According as I show you here, right? We have a lot of issues to be addressed. We have lots of topics to be discussed in metaverse. Yeah, but in terms of this term, I mean, in my opinion, if you want to make a persistent world, okay, Web3 or blockchain is something that you're not able to avoid, right? So that's why I start from this point. Yeah, but in terms of standardization, in this community, I mean, in Web3, there are a number of standardization approaches as well. For example, in blockchain, they have a BIP, and for Ethereum, they have EIP, right? So it's a decentralized approach to propose new ideas to improve the system. So everyone has the ability or has the authority to submit their proposal. And all the proposal will be discussed by the community and eventually voted by the community. In my opinion, this is a very good process to do standardization. And indeed, ERC20, ERC721, these are all kind of standards already exist in the industry already, right? So from IEEE perspective, if we were trying to propose a new standard for the industry, probably we need to collaborate with the industry rather than just, you know, doing the research on their own. This is something I feel from the markets and also from the because eventually the world is driven by the financial and investors, right? If you don't have sufficient supporters from the crypto and also from the investors, it's difficult to push the industry forward. Yeah.
Right. There are a question in the question answer, but before I go there, I just want to ask you a question. How are you developing your metaverse? On top of which platform, or whether you are creating the platform? Because you showed us a metaverse of CUHK.
Yeah, our metaverse was developed on top of a something called Physical. Is a federated blockchain in China, developed by a number of companies in Shenzhen. To be honest, I don't like that platform much, but due to the regulations in China, we cannot use the public blockchain directly. Otherwise, there might be issues if you have a token that could be exchanged with US dollars. So that is a limitation of our project. Unfortunately, we are located in China mainland, so we need to accomplish the law enforcement. So that's the reason. But personally, for example, in Mid East, right, or in Singapore, right, the policy is much more friendly, then probably public blockchain will be one of the best options. Especially now we have a lot of high performance blockchain. I mean, if the policy allows, then I believe the public blockchain will be the best option. Yeah, there are lots of high performance blockchain already. Polygon, and right, these are all fine. Especially after Ethereum has been transferred to have merged to POS, I think the performance is also much better as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I will get the one on how can we trust metaverse virtual world, and how can we guarantee decentralization? That was
this is a good question.
Yeah,
this is a good question. Well, to be honest, if I want to answer this question, probably I will need another 2 hours to start another lecture, right?
Right.
Yeah, indeed. I will need to start from consensus models and discuss the possibility of using different consensus. But in general, what I can tell you is that in blockchain community, this is the most important. This is the most important topic in blockchain community. People are talking about different consensus models. So far, the POW, proof of work, adopted by Bitcoin, it is the best approach in terms of decentralization, given you have assumption that the computational power are distributed among all of the world, right? This is probably the maximum consensus on top of decentralization. But there are lots of problems according to the performance and also the energy waste. So the second large blockchain, the Ethereum, has changed to POS. A lot of debates, a lot of crisis on this move, but still, well, let's see. Decentralization is something very difficult to be achieved. Yeah.
Right. And probably the last question from one of the attendees: how will the metaverse reframe a human-centered experience?
Yeah, this is also a very good question as well. In my opinion, metaverse is still under construction. Well, we still don't know what will be the final form of metaverse. So it probably is too early to answer this question now. But personally, I'm doing research in multimedia, interactive multimedia, and video games for quite a long time. And I think maybe we can borrow some, experience from the gaming industry, especially online gaming industry, because people, many players, especially young kids, right? They spend lots of time playing those games, right? Their experience in those gaming environments could be borrowed to do research in metaverse. Personally, human-centered means, for me, it means that we want to develop the system. We want to design the system to fulfill the needs of human. Okay, it's not only about the mathematic optimization. It's not only about how you're gonna, improve the numeric results. Instead, we should fulfill the need from the players, from the users. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Wei. And I think we exhausted you in this 1 hour, but it's really very informative. I believe I learned a lot, and I believe all the participants, attendees learned a lot. So thank you again for participating, and I'm looking forward to receiving your students and to start a collaboration between our labs and our institutions.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And yeah, we are looking forward as well. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.